Hello, everyone. I'm excited to introduce Nathaniel, my client who just made a pivot to a new industry and a pay increase, which is a really big deal. So I'm excited to share his story with you. Nathaniel, welcome. Would you mind sharing a little bit about where you were when we met and where your situation was with your career and your job search?
Sure. So I reached out to Olivia, kind of just frustrated with where I was in my position and where I was in my career, and had stumbled upon I think one of your ads on either Instagram or Facebook, and that really resonated with what I was looking for. So I reached out, and I had been with a company in the oil and gas, in the engineering, specifically in the engineering region of oil and gas. And it was a small company. I had been with them for a long time and kind of had felt that I had reached the upper limits of where I could go in that company and kind of where my value was inside of that company. And I was really looking to make an impact, and I was really looking to do more, and I wanted to do more. And my skill set, I think, lended itself to be able to do more. And I just felt constrained, and I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what the opportunities were, and had a background that was kind of broad, and didn't think that was a sellable thing. I really had struggled with identifying how to sell what I had accomplished in my career at small companies into other areas that I wanted to move to, and really worked on identifying what I wanted to do. And just, I was limited, I felt, and not happy, and certainly not content with my place in my career and my workspace, and was just looking for answers. And that's really where it started, was is there stuff out there? Kind of, what am I missing? Who can help me identify, and put the pieces together? I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, and this was an area that I didn't know much about, right? Like, you grow in your career and you kind of just go on. Some people really good about transitioning. Some of us, like me, are just like steady rock stars in their company, and then you kind of wake up one day and say, what am I missing? And that's really where I was at 44. As a solo dad, I wanted more. I wanted more for our family. I wanted more for me, and I just wanted to feel fulfilled again and happy with where I was doing. And so reaching out to Olivia for some guidance on that and get some direction is how it all started.
And I know you had to go through a lot to get this breakthrough. I don't want to make it sound easy. I mean, it's an up and down roller coaster, right? So what were some of the challenges or the biggest challenges you had to overcome?
Sure. It was challenging for me. So by education, I had like an accounting background, but I have my MBA, and I also have my project management professional, my PMP, but wasn't really active in all of those areas with deep knowledge. I had broad aspects in all of those areas, and knew that project management was something that was broadly available to me, but didn't love being like a task manager, like a heavy project manager. And so I'm better at managing project managers than managing projects, is what I said. And so that was a transition I had to kind of sell and say where my skill set was. And that was difficult, to build a succinct story of my skill set and be able to present in a manner that, like, hey, I have this breadth of knowledge that not many candidates have, but on my resume, like, it's hard to see that. And so that was one obstacle, was identifying my built-in skill set that was viable and that was valuable to the next employer. And then breaking out of the industry was also a little difficult. I was in the oil and gas industry, as I mentioned, and people tend to stay in those silos. I knew that I wasn't happy in that industry just because it's pretty cyclical in nature. There's feast or famine. It's like 2 or 3 years of like just lots of profits, and then it's 2 or 3 years of like everybody fighting for their life. And I didn't want to go through another cycle. We were in a down cycle at the time, and really felt unhappy with where that was and where that was leaving me, and the stress that it was adding to my life that I felt I didn't need at that time. So I was looking for opportunities. So I just worked on what my skill set was, how it was viable in other industries, and really went to work to try to hone in on what was being received and what was being marketable, and really reading reactions of those I was meeting with to see if that was received, if that stuck, or if it wasn't. And I would make notes of that and like really determine like, oh, they were receptive when I mentioned this skill set. They were like meh, yawning at this skill set. So I noted that, like, okay, maybe not mention that skill set. Whether I thought it was important or not, it was obviously in the eyes of the beholder. So I was trying to really critique and really hone in on what I was doing so that it put me in the best light for who I was meeting with, and really speak the language that they were looking for and connect with them directly on something that they're interested in. If I learned quickly, if I went on tangents about all of the things that I'm good at, but those didn't resonate with them, then it was lost. It was a waste of time. And so I was really learning what skill sets were marketable and what skill sets the people I was meeting with found most valuable. And so it was speaking to those to transition out of the industry, and really got me to where I was a viable candidate outside of the industry I was in.
Absolutely. And I think this is a piece so many people miss when they're pivoting, is getting their message to be relevant. That's the key to any marketing, is relevance. And you don't know what you don't know. So you kind of have to fail fast. And that can be hard for a high achiever to be constantly feeling like it's not perfect. But I think you went through that fail fast and you were able to break through. So I'm curious, like, do you want to share where are you now? What was the biggest thing you learned that got you to this finish line?
Yeah, so I did transition out. I received and accepted an offer for a large consulting firm, huge consulting firm, and working in one of their dedicated internal teams. And I'm excited about that. I think that lends to my skill set. Helping others is certainly where I'm strongest at. And that was the hardest part of communicating that and putting a value on that, because it's one thing to help others. It's one thing to put a value on the aid that you're doing. And so, but I struggled. I mean, it's not easy to get rejected day in and day out and day in and day out until you kind of figure out what is working. And then when it does seem to work, to not get the offers that you felt were aligned, then that takes, so psychologically, man, it's a battle. It really is a battle. And you're used to being, like you said, an achiever that's being awesome, and to have a lot of no's and a lot of like, you got to grind through that. So what I focused on was the mindset work a lot. The 50 reasons, I really worked on it. And those were hard for me, honestly. I got to about 20, 25, and then like really struggled to complete what I wanted, what I felt my value was, and would walk away from that list on several occasions, just frustrated, like, man, how can I not come up with 50? So I really went back and really worked on that and really honed, and then try to stay grounded in those after I had them down. So when I got rejections or when things didn't go work, I really re-spoke those to my value, and really rested on those. And then self-limiting beliefs went hand in hand with that. That work really helped me stay grounded in that area as well. And so
I just want to honor you really quick, because it's so clear you did that, internalizing your value, really owned it, or you wouldn't have been able to push back in the negotiations of the way you did to get them to rewrite the whole job to your standard. I mean, just take a moment. That was incredible, right?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you're right. I wouldn't have had that had I not been really working on that grounding and really working on my self-esteem a little in that work. And honestly, like, I had done some of that with some of the grief work that I had done prior to this, but not in the manner like of focusing in on my career. I think most people don't do that work with respect to their career related side. It's just like they go through the motions. They know they're good at what they do. But for me, I knew that I was good, but I didn't stop and really think about it in that manner. And I didn't really stop to like take a catalog and assess where my skill set was. And that helped me when it came to negotiation, because I really could stand on my own and really speak to my value and help them identify my value as well, right? It wasn't just like, you guys are idiots if you don't hire me because I'm so amazing. It was like, come along with them, help tell your story and in a manner that is received, and help them kind of identify like, yeah, this is a valuable member that we want part of our team. And that's really what broke it over for me and really got me not only the position I got, but got me in a position to negotiate and have some leverage in some negotiation. And that negotiation wasn't a battle. I mean, they had proposed something and I pushed back based on my value. And I think that's how negotiations work. And I was happy with how it was. Nobody really left that negotiation, I feel like they had lost. I think both of us had come to the table and seen the value that we were presenting for both parties, and we were willing to work with that. And that was key. But it was only key for me because I understood where my value was. And it wasn't like an arrogance thing. It was just like, okay, this is what I'm going to propose. And this is why I'm going to propose it. And not a take it or leave it, like you guys suck if you don't see this. Like it was just like, this is where I am, and just really friendly in the regard of like how I'm going to operate and be firm in why I believed in what I believed in. And that was really well received.
Absolutely. So I just, again, thank you for sharing your story. You've come so far. Is there any last parting words you want to share with anyone who's watching this that might be trying to pivot, change careers? They've been somewhere so long and they're just hesitating. What would you say to them?
I would say, if you feel like you want to pivot and you want to change, then you should honor that absolutely, and you should make it happen. It may not be easy. It may not be fun. And certainly when you're in the middle of all of that, there will be dark, dark days. And I say, if you are true to yourself and know why you're doing and build up the confidence to know that you can, it'll be worth it. You'll build skill sets, you'll build resilience that will carry you through not only for your next career change, but lifelong. And I would say, buckle up, but do it. But I mean,
Awesome.
like you owe it to yourself to try, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Nathaniel, and congratulations.
Thank you.